So, is it morning, afternoon, evening? So, it depends na kwenye uko sahi. Hapa Kenya si tuko evening. Good evening to you and welcome. Ni sisi wale pale, wale majamaa wako. Of course, telling you stories and making sure that you inspire to inspire blah blah blah. Kizungu mingi baadhi hatujua nagi. Lakini tuko hapa mazee siku ya leo nataka tupige story ya drug and substance abuse as we try to find the truth. Ni kwa God kuna satisfaction right ama ni kwa dunia na hizi madre na nini na nini. I have a team with me watakuja on board as we continue to quest for the truth. Karibuni sana majamaa. Be blessed.
So my name is Martha Washira. I'm a niche royalty. I'm a fashion and design student. Nimetoka Kithurai.
My name is Dr. Brandy Nyambeki. I'm working as a HR in Nairobi Women's Hospital.
My name is Onyango Evans from Kisumu and a servant of God.
My name is Juliet Anyango. I'm a business lady.
My name is Sheila Mudhoni. I'm a student. I pursue hospitality.
My name is Senior and I'm a businesswoman.
My name is Joshua Kyoko from Kampani and I'm an agriculturist.
Yeah. So today we are going to be having a discussion with this great panel concerning drug and substance abuse. Many have different opinions. Some think it is wise to be on drugs, some think not wise. And to top it all, we have a doctor on board just to try and explain to us why they are drugs, why they are used on everything and everything. We have also a team from the church side who believe that according to Christianity, drug and substance abuse is evil or is termed to be a sin. Well, we have also a team who think that this is life and we got to live life as it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the discussion. We appreciate having you on board. So, we're going to start with maybe their views on the issue we are talking about. We're going to start with the far right. Yes, Madam Martha will be our first to give our opinion maybe and what she thinks about this great issue. Welcome.
Thank you for the chance. So, drug and substance abuse. I think drugs are positive to our lives if not in any other way, but drugs have tegekaji. It's like a source of refuge for most of us. As much as the society portrays a different picture of what drugs are, it's a comfort zone for most of us. So I don't see any negativity in using drugs. There is no, as much as things might happen, but at the end of the day, everyone will die, everyone will get sick. So live your life as you have decided to. That's my view.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Madam Daktari, you have heard what she had to say. What's your side? What's your view?
Thank you for the chance. On my side, drug is good, but if you overdo it, it has some effects. Because when we have these drugs that are stimulants, and they affect the brain, they affect the neurotransmitters receptors. When I say it affects the normal functioning of the brain, it feels, when you take those drugs, you can be more excited, you can overdo some things, you might have more energy, so it has some effects. Yeah, I think that's all I have.
Yeah, thank you. Moving on to Sir Evans, you have heard what your predecessor had to say. What's your take on this?
Thank you very much. I am humbled this day to be before you on this issue about drug and substance. And I feel from the definition of drugs, drug is a substance that alters the normal functioning of a body. So to me, I am trying to look at it in a negative part. There is that positive part, but there is a negative part which is affecting the generation. And I feel that drugs is not good for this generation.
Thank you, Sir Evans.
Thank you.
Moving on swiftly, Madam Entrepreneur, we would like to see your side now that you are entrepreneur. What's your take on this?
Okay, thank you. So when we speak about drug, we know that there is two types of drug. There is the drug that has been prescribed by the doctor, and there is this other drug that we normally use. Like an example, when we say like bang, alcohol. So according to me, when we speak about bang, alcohol, those others, cocaine, according to me, they are not good. Because one thing, and it is a fact, it makes our life becomes miserable. So according to me, drugs are not good.
Thank you. I think we are seeing the numbers and we can draw the lines. Moving on swiftly to the next lady, can you let us hear your views?
Thank you for the chance. According to me, drugs, it's something that can be maybe prescribed by the doctor or just drugs that affect us. So it doesn't matter if it is prescribed, because when you overuse them, they'll have an effect. So according to me, whether you use them whether they are prescribed or they are just for leisure, they have this effect in the sense that whether you take them prescribed, if you have an overdose, it will have an effect. If you have an underdose, it will have the same effect. So I totally disagree with drugs.
Okay, thank you. The next lady, kindly, your views.
Okay, thank you for the chance. Personally, I can say drugs are good because I personally sell them and take them, and I don't see any side effect, because when I have pressure or maybe issues with my temper, I just use them and they are good. So they are positive to me. Yeah.
Thank you. And our last gentleman on the set.
Yes, according to me, there is no problem with using drugs. This is because the drugs they are prescribed and they have an instruction on how to use them. And in normal cases, overconsumption or overdoing anything is usually has got its own disadvantages. Overconsumption, overdoing anything, yes. So if you take a drug as prescribed or as it was made, I don't see any negativity coming from the drug, because drug is a substance that existed even from before the days drug was there, and people that were using drugs. Even to this current day world, that abnormalities has turned to normalities and normalities into abnormal. With that motto that if you treat something normal, then the world will be abnormal to you. So according to me, we have to be under that some influence that is coming from drug, at least to cope up with this world full of many challenges. Yeah, so with me, there is no harm with using drugs.
Yeah, as they have said, I think now we can at least try and guess where people are lying. Some say drugs are good, some say drugs ain't good. Maybe just to dig a little bit deeper, from the side, the people that say drugs are not good, why really do you think that drugs are not good? Maybe from different perspectives. Sir Evans, would you kindly explain to us? I think you say that drugs ain't good.
Okay, I feel that drugs are not good because drugs on many instances, they make you so reliable to them. And when they make you reliable to them, it puts you in a situation that you feel that you cannot do without. So you become dependent on them. So that is one of the reasons why I feel that drugs is not good. Yes.
Okay, and the people that say that maybe I feel drugs are good. So maybe to hear from Sakioko, what do you have to say on the people, for instance, that are using alcohol? We get them around the drains, they are drunk, they look messed up. Do you think they're in the right place? and they are doing the right thing?
First of all, as I have said earlier, there is negativity coming from overconsumption of everything. So if you see anyone messing up as a source of consuming alcohol or another drug, that is just a cause of overconsumption. If you use it at the limited amount or the prescribed limit that you want as a body, okay, your body, there are some of the genes that are, okay, there are some of genes that work good, that work much better when you're under some influence or when you're under some drugs. Now, this doesn't mean that you overconsume them. Overconsuming drugs is what has led to this mess up and spoiling the name of the drugs.
So let me ask a question then. Does it mean, and it's an open question, any of you can tackle it. Does it mean, for instance, if I take a little alcohol, I have friends who come from the Christian family and they say, totally don't take alcohol. But according to the description, you say that it's overconsumption. So if I take a little bit, I'm good. Maybe an insight on something like that? Yeah?
I wanna disagree with you because there are people that can't sleep without drugs. So today you have to take 2 pills. Maybe you had a hectic day, you are stressed up and you can't relax, so you can't get some sleep. So you'll be forced to either take 2 more pills. So maybe some have nightmares and you want to escape the same thing. So you'll be forced to use double the dose so that you can sleep. You're misusing the drug and you're becoming an addict to the same drug. And in the morning it will have some effect because you'll be tired, you'll have so much frustration by the day. So it will obviously have a very negative impact in your life, whether you take it prescribed or not. Because at the end of the day, if what you're suffering from is something that maybe needs hard drugs than the ones that you're using, you'll still misuse the drug that you have. So having the double effect of what it could have been healing than, so it has an effect.
So maybe to ask a question, Madam Daktari, before my good sister asks a question. Madam Daktari, maybe you can give us an insight on maybe some drugs that are beneficial to human beings and those that are harmful to human beings. Maybe just to understand, even as we continue the discussion, what drugs are we really talking about?
Thank you for the chance. When we talk about drugs, we have 2 types of drugs. We have the stimulants and we have these prescribed drugs. And when you overdo these prescribed drugs, it stimulates, it increases the neurotransmitters. The way the brain functions normally, inafanya inapanda juu kabisa. Like someone gets excited just for a little while. Someone gets a lot of energy, but for a little while. It goes beyond the normal working of the brain. And when you come to these stimulants, the ones we call caffeine and cocaine, heroin, it affects the body because it alters the normal functioning of the body. So it has some major effects.
Great, thank you. Madam Martha, you had a question?
Okay, I want to rule out the idea that my fellows are bringing, the idea that using drugs you will be like, you will rely on them or you will be addicted. It's just so obvious that nobody works independent, whether you're on drugs or you're on Jesus or whatever. You are never independent, so there is no point that we can say that you will be an addict. I'm an addict of drugs, you are an addict of Jesus. So we are all not independent. So that point is just out.
Just to add on, there is that issue of drunk and Jesus. Fine. Let me first of all consider the point that was being brought by Mr. Jeff. Okay, he has questioned or he has quoted that drugs, that part of drugs are the part of Christianity. Okay, let me first of all talk of what I know about the relationship between the two. First of all, okay, let now be, okay, for example, let me use myself as a Christian and who is addicted to drugs. So for example, I'm a Christian and a Christian who is addicted to drugs. I don't see any problem with it. Why am I saying this? First of all, as a person, I have brains. As a person, I know times that I go to meet my God. I have times that I do this and this and this in the matters of kingdom as a Christian, isn't it? According to the principalities and the rules that rules out the whole thing of the Christianity, you have to present yourself pure before the God. And now, at the times that you are living, since we are living in this world and you are human being in this present world, the time that you are not before the presence of God, now I don't see any problem with it. With it taking some amount of stimulant for at least normal working into the day for your daily activities.
So, according to what you were trying to say is that we need these drugs at least to keep our bodies moving, right? They are really kind of a necessity. And as we have seen, we are living in this generation, we have seen it, and we know what is happening. Maybe the people from those who disagree with drugs, I think
Okay.
the team is winning here that we really need these drugs.
Okay, I strongly feel that we don't need drugs. That is, and I stick to that, and I'm not going to change.
Why do you think so?
Because I do believe that first, in a human system, we have three parts in a human. We have the body, we have the soul, and we have the spirit. With our soul, we contact the intellectual level and the emotional level. And drugs are substance that alters or change the normal function of the body. So I do believe that when God created man, he breathed some air into that soil, and the soil came alive. That's according to the book of Genesis. So sometimes we have failed to keep a close relationship with our God. So we feel like we need other things. We feel that we need these drugs in support. I want to remind you, I've heard that our sister, Martha, has just said that whether you are a Christian or whether you are a non-believer, that you cannot do with these drugs. But I do feel that if you can be able to keep a personal relationship with your God, you do not need drugs. If you can just be able to maintain that personal relationship. But we tend to lose it, and the world has become so corrupt that it has created a strategy. And in the book of I guess it's the book of Colossians, it says, not Colossians, it says that there are some things, everything is accepted, but not everything is beneficial. So, to this world, drugs, they look beneficial. I want to illustrate some few examples according to the scriptures and according to my belief that will support that these things are they are bad, these drugs. First, we have not generalized that stimulants or depressants or nini. I'm just on general that all drugs are bad. All drugs are bad. So I feel from the story of Noah, that's also in the book of Genesis, chapter 5. If you can look at Genesis, we find that Noah had some little wine. When he had some little wine, maybe we can try to take that Noah was tired because he had built the ark, na alikuwa amekaa, he had stayed in the ark for a very long time. So he was tired. And then he decided to take some wine that changed his. And we find that from that, his son, Ham, was able to see the nakedness of Noah. When he saw the nakedness of Noah, it brings shame to the next generation. These drugs, they are substance, small, and they just continue growing and building something in our system. Slowly by slowly, slowly by slowly, slowly by slowly. You cannot know it, but there is something it does. But when we are able to contact the spiritual realm using our spirits, it will heal our body. It has done to other people, it has done to some people. They are living testimonies. And I do believe that drugs are bad. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Juliet.
Okay, I want to second him. I want to support him for what you said. Because when we speak about drugs, okay, especially I want to talk about the stimulant drugs like alcohol, cocaine, bang. This is what I want to explain. Like the reality is that they're so addictive. Okay, like my sister said that we are addicted to Jesus, so then they're addicted to drugs. Yeah, we don't, okay, happen to be shiny. But what comes out is the consequences, ama the results. Because, okay, automatically, let me say a person that is addicted to alcohol. Sete tujawaona, tumewaona. And how is their life? Because napata mtu amekunywa sana, haezi tembea kwenda kwake. Right? So because haezi tembea kwenda kwake, what happens is that utapata amelala kwa barabara, amefanya some things that are not good. So then you expect us to agree that drugs are also good. Let me give another example ni kama bangi. Mtu anasema ukivuta moja it is so powerful. Na inaweza it's like it can control you. So it can control you, like utaanza kufanya vitu crazy. Vitu ambayo in real sense a person with real sense ambako active haizi fanya. Because like an example, utavuta bang, uanze kupiga watu, uanze kuleta kelele kwa like in the society. Then we expect us to agree that drugs are also good. One thing we see at these drugs, they have a negative result. Because after using, wengi tunasema ni hara, but hakuna hara. One thing it is done, tunajichimbia kaburi peke yetu. Because the understanding that we have with drugs, most people take it that it is because of pleasure. But that's not the reality. What happens, it has a bad effect. It has a negative effect. Unaona pata mtu ako addicted na ile siku hajachukua anakaa weak. Anakaa it's like ni sick. Why? Because he's addicted to this thing. Na the body imeizoea. So, according to me, I don't support, especially the stimulant drugs. I don't.
Okay, thank you. It's something is coming out here evidently. Before Madam Emma raises her concerns, it seems that everyone is in a quest of happiness. Some have found their happiness in drugs, some have found their happiness in Christ. And like one of us said, that we are all slaves into something. We cannot live independently. So I'm trying to think that it's just finding your happiness. That is the most important thing in life. We are humans, right? As all of us will agree, we are all humans and we are in a quest for a happiness or something. Madam Emma, your concerns kindly as...
Yeah, I can say it doesn't matter how much we argue, but you see, all of us here, either in one way or another, there's a way unajipata umetumia drugs. We can argue and say it is bad, but you can find even in tea leaves, there is a certain drug in that unapata mtu anakwambia sijakunywa chai na mwana kichwa. The same to medicines ambazo tunapewa hospitalini. The same they have with these drugs. So I don't see anything bad with drugs, because in one way or another, either you are a doctor, you are a Christian, you are a pagan, it doesn't matter. But these drugs are helpful to our bodies. So hata tukiargue, me still, I stand that drugs are helpful. So let's just agree that hizi vitu ni mzuri and we continue using them.
Madam Emma wants us to buy the idea that these drugs mazeni, hizo vitu ziko, tuingie kwa life, tupige life vile iko. Tuache ku discussion mingi, tukubaliane drain poa. Madam Daktari, concern?
When we talk about drugs are good. I don't think anyone can survive without drugs. Yes. Because when you are sick, unakimbilianga wapi? Hospitali. Daktari naumwa na kichwa. Because we need drugs. I was handling a patient who was suffering from bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. And they need drugs. But when they overdo it, there is a certain effects they undergo. The manic energy rises and the depression. So we need drugs, but when you overdo it. When you overdo drugs and you are suffering from bipolar 1, the body starts to swell. So you have the drug, but use it rightly. When you have painkillers, when you overdo it, what does it do to you? Ama mtu akiprescribewa na daktari 1 times 2, we utaona 3 times 3, it will have an effect because there is a certain way the body runs. There's a certain way, there's a certain schedule. So when you are taking those drugs in excess, it will affect the normal functioning of the body. So drugs are good when you use it rightly.
Thank you very much. Maybe before Sakioko has his grievances, Madam Daktari, now how then well should you use the so-called drugs? For instance, basing on the society we are living in, we have seen people getting drunk with alcohol, getting high on heroin, cocaine. So does it mean even these drugs are good? And we should maybe try to take them for just a little, just to make our bodies to be safe and everything?
No, because some certain drugs, they are being used in medicine. If you just read those labels well, the things that they have been used to make those drugs. So when we say heroin, cocaine, they are stimulants. But when you take this, you take in excess, for you want pleasure. You find pleasure in it, so you take in excess. You want to feel high, but for a short time. That is why you find the body, it wants more and more and more. Because this cocaine makes you happy, it makes you to have excess energy. Unaweza fanya kazi from 7 to 7 without getting tired. But when you are now normal, when you know your body is now functioning normal, you'll be tired. So when you use it excessively, it is bad.
Sakioko?
Thank you very much, Emma, Daktari, and my sister there. With this thing, okay, let me have this one example. Like, I have that my politician friend, and we met last time, and so I questioned him about his energy and his confidence about facing community and facing society at large. So he told me, okay, he is able to tell me, but if at all, I promise her to be somehow secretive. He told me this is the influence of those strong stimulants. So that was not all. I went on and met my very energetic musician performer. So I questioned him about his energy and how he confronts issues with issues with shyness and that ability to stand before many people. So he told me that it's just influence of drugs.
Yes, we are trying to see which side is at least winning, but I think you guys can agree with me that we kind of need these drugs. Our bodies kind of need these drugs. Because as many as you have given your points and opinions, the body needs something to stimulate it. And we find nikama drug tu ndio zinaweza to push. But anyway, everyone is entitled to their own thoughts and their ideas, and what we want to know is the truth. Where should we lie? Is it the drugs? Is it the church side? So as we wind up, we're giving all of us a chance to make sure that tell us why you think what you think and see what we can agree on. Thank you. Starting from Martha, moving on swiftly, you have 2 minutes to make your point.
For me, I'm so happy. Hii conversation imeenda tu vizuri. Like, everybody is just saying you just need a little bit of it. For those who are saying that drugs are bad, they are saying they are bad because you will get addicted. So if you don't get addicted, then just flow with it. So this is the thing. Just as my brother Kyoko said, it's you take it according to your body. How much can your body take in? Mimi nasaidika na chupa 2. Emma nasaidika na 5, whichever. You know, I even know of people who kama ni kwenda pale stage, nani kanisani kwenda pale stage kupiga present worship. Manze akipiga tu puff moja ni hivyo. Like hiyo present worship ina flow. And nobody will see any issue with it. Mta flow tu na worship na muombe. At the end of the day, that is the goal. So if you take it and you take it ikusaidie. Okay, for the guys who work during the night, kama hii kitu inakusaidia usidoze, mbona usiitumie juu ukikosa kuitumia udoze, manze utapata wapi bread ya watoi? Huwezi pata. So this is the thing. Tumia. Kama inakusaidia tumia. If it is about your self-esteem issues, if this drug helps you to boost your self-esteem, go for it. If it is about whichever, if it is dealing with your stress, if this drug helps you, go for it. I totally agree with what every one of us is saying. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And on my side, I would like to say drugs are good, but on excessive use, they are bad. As a doctor, I was dealing with one patient, and she was a lady, and she had a family and 3 kids. And the lady was so much into bang. You know, drugs, it is how you control it. Because there's a certain way your body functions. And when you insert some things, it will adapt with the time. So the more you insert some things into your body, it will catch up. And it will want more and more. Because that is how you've trained it. So this lady was so much into drugs. Specifically bang. Kwa majani, ange mix hapo bang kidogo. Kwa chakula, bang kidogo. But it reached a point upon her life, and it was just enough. She could not undergo these drugs issues because she had seen the effect. The husband left her, and she remained with the 3 children. So when you do medicine, you take a unit called psychology. And in psychology, what we are being taught, there's a way you treat a drug addict. You just don't tell her, drug is bad. No. You welcome her. Unamleta karibu. And you know which drug is she using. Can you control it? How did she start? How has she been using? So I found out she was using bang. And daily she could use like 3 snuffs. She could snuff some. And you know, I was just telling her, we were just talking one-on-one, and I was telling her, what is the use of this bang? Which gain has this bang given you? And she just flowed into tears, and I'm like, and you mean this drug is helping you? This drug is not helping you. As far as much you can say it pleases you, it accelerates your body, it has some effects. It affects your family, it affects your marriage, it affects your children. Sometimes angeenda jifiche kwa choo, bora sniff, because the body is used. At 9 a.m., my body needs this and this stimulant, so I must go and use. So we tulimpeleka kwa rehabilitation center, and day by day, like for example, she was snuffing 3, we could give her 2. At least we are making a progress. Hatumwachishi tu hivyo, because unajua mwili shazoea. And the moment mwili imezoea, kuna vile unafaa train ujiache kidogo. So alikuwa anachukua 3, unamwekea 2. Wiki moja inasonga, unatoa hiyo 2, anachukua 1. And after some weeks, and she just gets normal, and she regains back her family. So at the excessive use of drug, it has effects and it is bad. But drugs are good. I came here with a sanitizer, and this sanitizer, the ingredients, alcohol. And yet people are saying it is bad. But at some point, it is good. Because we are using sanitizer. Sanitizer inatusaidia nini? It destroys, it kills germs. But on the wrong use, it can affect your body. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much.
We have 2 minutes to make sure our point is driven home.
Thank you very much. I will just like to read something, the definition of good, so that my 2 sisters may understand when we say something is good, what does it mean? Good in English dictionary, it says useful for a particular purpose and effective. So once something is good, there is no accusation that when you use it a little or you use it bad. When it is good, it is good. So when we start saying that we can use it, but when we use it at an extent, I think, my doctor, you are getting lost somewhere. I think there is an error somewhere. You are not bringing the terms very well. Because alcohol, yes, it is in the sanitizer, it is bad. I disagree, it is bad.
So you're not
Why?
using the
Okay,
sanitizer?
I use it, but I disagree. I disagree with that.
But you still use it.
I disagree that it is bad. I don't agree that alcohol is okay. Because alcohol has some substance in it, in which there's a processing method that it underwent to bring out that. So when we use it as a sanitizer, we don't know the effects. We can look at the instance of COVID-19 drugs that were being administered. When something is good, it's good. So I also disagree with that substance, because we find that it was sometimes when people were going for that medical drug, it made their bodies to be weak. If it was good, why is it making them weak instead of making them strong? So I concur with that, and I differ so strongly that drugs are just bad. They are just bad. And I thank you people. That's my standing. Yes.
Okay. First thing you've said that if the drug is prescribed by the doctor and used according to the purpose, it is good. But in this scenario, tutaka tuangalie these drugs, stimulant drugs ambavyo vijana hutumia. Yes, kuna Panadol, kuna Piriton, but in this time tutaka tuangalie which types of drugs in affect society so much. Which type of drug in affect society so much. One thing, most tunaonanga kama ni alcohol, huwezi niambia that too much excess use of alcohol. So it means leo nikikunywa chupa moja, kesho nikunywe moja, hivyo moja. So you want to say hivyo iko use. Because one thing we have to understand is that it will destroy what is called, it will destroy our liver. That's what you know, doctors.
Excessive use, yes.
Yeah, because we say that unajua kuna mwingine kisika excessive use anadhani maybe leo nikunywe tu yote ama nikunywe moja. But unapatanga when I drink today, kesho pia nikunywe moja. Unaona ina bring some addiction. So one thing that you have never understood is that people think that this drug is where there is happiness. But they never knew that they've been blinded. Because when you read in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 4, it says that the people of this world, they have been blinded. By the God of this world has blinded the people that they cannot see. The unbelievers. They cannot see this light of salvation. People wanaona salvation ni kama kanisa ni kama it is a body, but no, it's not a body. But what the reality ambayo jana understand ni kuwa wamefunikwa. That's why that lady ali understand my life inakuwa ruined because of this bar. My life is becoming a ruin because of this bar. Why should I take it? That's why alikuja kwenye kwa msaada, right? Your rehabilitation. Why? Because I understand there is an effect in these things. I cannot continue. So it was because she was blinded. My sister anasema ati kanisani unakunywa chupa moja. My friend, that is no. And I refused. Because the understanding it comes when the Bible says that you cannot mix a fresh wine in an old skin. Because one thing we go, mbona basi anaenda praise and worship na anakunywa alcohol. One thing when the Bible says that drunkenness, it is a sin. There is an understanding that we have to get. Drugs are not good. Especially the stimulant drugs are not good and are not perfect. Because one thing when umeona how many have been in rehabilitation. Si ati walianza ni too much. No. I started with 1. I came 2. I came 3. Nikaanza kuchukua like box nzima. Then you expect me una continue kisema there is happiness. No, that's not happiness. Because these drugs zimeharibu marriages. These drugs zimefanya watoto wengine wakatoka out of school. They've been dropping school. Wengine wamefanya tu wameanza kuwa majambazi. Then why should we allow these drugs? Why? Why should you allow them? So according to me, I disagree. I disagree and I disagree. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Moving on swiftly.
We all agree that we want happiness, and everyone is finding a way to gain the happiness. So what's the use of having happiness that is short-lived? If you use drug right now, we'll be hyper for some minutes or some hours, but when the drug is ikiwa suppressed, you will go back to the issues that you are trying to escape. So at the end of the day, whether you are escaping, whether you are using the drug to escape or to relieve the pain or anything, you'll still go back to whatever you are escaping from. So you cannot tell me that you're looking for happiness in a place that is short-lived. So just come to Christ and have happiness that is unlimited.
True.
Because when you're faithful to Him, He's faithful to you. There's no way that you will be faithful to Him and you expect Him to be faithful. A two-way traffic. It's either you be faithful or unfaithful. So don't tell me that when you use drugs, you're using drug and you're going to church. How? You cannot be hot and cold. You have to choose one. You can't be warm. You have to be cold or hot. So you have just to look for happiness that is unlimited.
And to you, madam.
Okay. First of all, the issue of excess. Mimi as I define kama mazoea, si ndio? And pia watu wa Bible wanatuambianga ukifanya mazoea na Mungu ni mbaya, si ndio? And what we are supporting, we are saying we can use the drugs because they are useful but not excess. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So even new people of maybe church, let's say they support us that we can use it but not excess. Pia hata kuzoea Mungu nayo, it is bad. Or that is not the case.
No, I strongly disagree. Kuzoea Mungu, it is not bad.
Kuna ile mazoea, unaona?
No, you know, kuzoea, when you say about kuzoea, is like you're trying to create a personal relationship with God. A personal relationship, si mazoeano. A personal
Let me ask you a
relationship
question before
is,
you continue.
Yes, thank you.
Kulize, maybe let's say now our doctor here is your spiritual mom.
Yes.
Will you not create boundaries?
Yeah, but boundaries will have to be created.
Thank you.
Yes.
Then my second question. Mnasema drugs. Sasa mimi nisipouza drugs, nitapata wapi riziki? Na watu hata wenye wameenda rehab, wasipopewa hiyo drug, watapona aje?
Thank you very much. Our doctor here, when she was started, she said something that first there's something we call the psychology. The psychology. And the psychology, you don't treat it with drugs. If you can understand. You treat it with words. And these words, they come from, the Bible says in the book of James chapter 1 verse 21, that receive the engrafted word which is able to save your soul. From your soul, you have your mind. From your mind, you are able to change that person. So we have to have the Christ in us. We receive the word from Christ. We put it into practice. Tunapatia huyo mtu ambaye is now undergoing that. You know, the enemy has created a system, which is the devil. He has created a system for shortcut, in which people are struggling with so many things, and the shortcut has been to the drugs. That just get the drugs and leave away the true happiness. The true happiness. The Bible says also in the book.
Happiness?
True happiness is that feeling of being contented.
Yenye tunapata wapi?
Yenye tunapata kwa Mungu. Thank you.
I disagree.
Come with your point.
This is my point.
Thank you.
Mbona mnani limit? As in, nimetoka home, niko na pressures za mtaani. My parents maybe tumekorofana. And then you want me to come to church and you're telling me in church I'll have happiness. What happiness? Chill.
Yes, okay.
What happiness? Because the moment I come to church, from minute 1, these are commandments. You do this, you don't do that, you don't do that, you don't do that, you don't do that. Is that what you're calling happiness? Cheki, nikivuka nje, nikutane na mabeshte wangu pale hivyo kwa klabu wanishikie chupa. Hakuna dons. Hakuna dons. Mimi nashikilia zangu, najibamba. Even if mnasema ni short lived, ni that moment at least I have had my happiness.
Thank you very much. At that moment. Maybe it could be 24 hours. But what about the next day? Will you be still having that happiness?
Kumbuka kwa church
After
sikupata happiness.
Because you have refused to receive. I told you that you have to receive Christ and then receive the engrafted word.
Now, the problem is not that, that you're not getting the happiness in church. It is because you yourselves, you have refused to accept the happiness from Christ. Now that is what creates the problem. It is not the church. It is not Jesus.
Maybe I can add on
Thank
that. You know, mostly the drug addict, they need just someone to lean on. They need someone that they can pour their heart to. I'm taking this drug, but it's not my fault. I have a history behind it. I've handled so many patients. Si kila mtu mwenye anataka kuchukua drugs anataka kupenda. Sometimes it's because of maybe family issues, maybe because of certain situations. But when you just give them an ear and you advise them slowly by slowly, this drug is not good, you just tell them. Don't condemn. You know, most churches, they believe in condemning.
True.
They don't give us a chance to hear. You tell them, you know, this thing, I know you're taking it. I've accepted it. But try as much as possible, you leave it. Don't live that way, because it is not easy. Come, I will teach you. I know these ways. Usimwambie ingia kwa hiyo shimo. Ingia na ndani hiyo shimo, mwambie tutapanda hivi na hivi tutoke ndani hiyo shimo. Don't tell them usifanye hivyo, no muonyeshi Kenya nafaa afanye. You see? I think
Pink it's like we don't understand what salvation is. Because tangu ukiokoka, I never forced you to enter into salvation. But one thing, it is a convincing heart. Is that right?
Yeah.
So wakati unasema ati church kuna rules what. Okay, unaenda kwa the world. Hakuna rules. Hakuna rules, right? Okay, let me tell you that in that world that is haina laws ama haina rules, right? Unakunywa hizo chupa mbili. Hapo ndo umeona penye benefit iko, penye furaha iko, si ndio? One day ikisha hiyo drug ambayo unatake, ikisha affect body yako, utaenda wapi?
Mimi kuna swali.
Itaenda wapi first? Let us answer it.
Hapo hivyo kwa nini? Chill. Hapo hivyo kwa affect my body. So unataka kuniambia nikikuja kwa Yesu sitaigonjeka?
Okay,
mimi niko na swali. Wenye wako na lung cancer wote ni drug addicts.
Okay,
wote wenye wamekufa ni drug addicts.
No. Okay.
It's just a question.
Yes. Okay, there is something that we want to correct. Like one thing with God, yes, we can be sick, but tukienda tuombe, mtu anapona. That's the reality that is happening. Because what is happening, it is because there is something called faith in what you believe. Faith. So unaona wewe umekanga so much faith, so much confidence in that drug. But the Bible says in James 4:4 that if you become a friend of the world, you are an enemy to God. That is the reality. So nataka niulize just reality. When you're a friend of God, you want to become a friend of God or a friend of the world. Because a friend of the world, you are doing what God and attacking. What it is against God's will. Because unaona wewe ni mse uko na destiny great, but it is because the devil has blinded you guys. You see that drugs no place benefit. The devil has blinded you guys. Unaonanga the immediate benefit, but we don't see at the result.
Yes, the discussion seems to be getting a bit hotter.
Yes.
But I'm told that our time is dying, so it means this discussion doesn't end just here. We're going to create just another time to continue this discussion. Ndio tujue maze ukweli ni nini. Ni kwa God ama ni kwa world. Si ndio? But before we end the show, our brother Kioko, kuna kitu alikuwa atuambia, he had not given his view. Brother Kioko, tupe story yako in 2 minutes as we wind up, kindly.
Thank you for the chance. So guys, it's so unfortunate that at the outset I have changed my mind. So this has been the reason. Okay, let me say, the reason behind changing my mind is that I have considered the lives of my past friends there out. I had a friend, and we used to get into drugs together. And my friend was affected, seriously was affected. My friend was one of the intelligent and the brightest one that the brightest person that I could bring, that I have a bright person close to me. Since so that confidence of achievements and that confidence of a lot of brains, so it brought into the world of drunkards. slowly by slowly adapting, thereby I ended up being a drug addict. So my friend, today, those days we were good church attendants, and also we were somehow okay at the church. We were both performing well because we had the brains to balance everything. We were able to balance God and the church, and no one could get us, and no one could sense us. So you see how the devil is deceitful. At that point, so we had that a lot of confidence because whenever we were under influence, we could perform very well. In fact, very well, and everyone was impressed. And we had that celebrated names. These people, they did not knew that we were under influences. That's why we were able to do things that they were not able to do. And they seen us doing things that they were not able to do. They celebrated us, calling us all sort of appreciations as guys of the Lord. You see, but we are under the influence. So since considering the scripture that God is not a human being, he cannot be you cannot joke around God. So today, I lost my friend in a very critical situation that I'm not able to explain. It will pain me. It will pain me a lot. So generally, drugs has side effects. Whether at what point, whether being taken by a fool, whether being taken by a diligent, whether being taken by a normal person, whether being taken by high class person, drugs, they have effects. And their effects, they are long-lasting effects. Today, for example, I take one sip of alcohol, or one bottle, 500 ml of alcohol. Let's say, even if it's that 4%, I think the least percentage of alcohol is, I think there is 1.5, or yeah, let's say, for example, let's say that 1.5. Today I take that 1.5, tomorrow I take that 1.5, but as time goes by, I have confidence even to take that 40%, which later will bring me liver cirrhosis, will bring into me lung cancer, even at some point blood cancer, which will lead to my death. That's premature death, and the since
Yeah, just I beg to cut you short.
Okay.
Just because of what times I'm told Masaya to imeisha. Maze hii discussion haiwezi paka yaba. Hii discussion ni noma. Nasikia nikiangalia hii side naona watu bado maswali ziko. They still want access to something, as well as the team from the church naona tu mnasisimukwa. And just to tell you about it, we are going to do this again next week, same time, same place, to ensure that hii conversation inaenda. We must, lazima tutafute ukweli, tujue ni wapi kuzuri, si ndio? So thank you guys for being with us. See you same time, same place next week.
Awesome.
Thank you for our guest. Thank you. So thank you my guys. Mazee, umesikia tu vile conversation imekuwa leo, imekuwa top hit. Mazee, tukijaribu kutafuta wasi wachache umetuambia pale, ma scripts hapa kule. The other team mazee pia mmesikia. Unasema dre ni poa, lazima mwili ikae na dre. But as we have promised that today end the conversation, we're going to be having it next week, same time, same place. So hakikisha you are here with us mazee, tujue ukweli. Shukran sana, see you then.